Okay. Yes. August 22nd, new patch for Heroes of the Storm. We've got changes to 4 assassins, 1 specialist, 5 supports, and 2 warriors. Thank you very much for the sub, the noble gift. Let's go check it out. We always try to make a prediction to see if heroes get buffs or nerfs based on what we believe is their current game state in the meta. I believe Chromie will get buffs. She's the lowest win rate in the Nexus right now. Kel'thuzad I already had a sneak peek, as I did for Raynor and Tychus. Raynor small nerfs, Tychus small buffs. Kel'thuzad is getting a few changes, I'm very excited about it. Osmodan, he's the second best win rate in the hero. Second best win rate hero, Raynor being best. So they're both getting some nerfs. Deckard I would expect nerf, Lily buff, Morales buff, Stukov maybe buff and nerf. Whitemane I would expect nerfs. Artanis I would expect buffs or change, maybe talent rebalancing. But probably a buff. And Sonya, it's hard to say. I think maybe talent rebalancing because Sonya is neither strong nor weak. Well, let's see. Let's start. Chromie is getting 5% more damage on the Sand Blast. And the same thing for Dragon's Breath. And a little bit more damage on Bronze Talon. So just more damage straight up. While continuing to try the rework that she has. Kel'Thuzad is getting more damage on Death and Decay. Shorter cooldown. He's getting quicker Frost Novas with less damage. First reward no longer grants CDR, but grants Glacial Spike. That's why they lowered the cooldowns, because... Okay. And the duration of your Glacial Spike is now only 3 instead of 4 seconds, to have it be less of a zoning threat, I suppose. But it also makes it better because you can... Like, it deals damage when it expires, and it can be buffed at level 7. So you're more likely to have the damage proc on someone as well. Frost Blast deals more damage, which is his second heroic that you should never use. It also travels faster to begin with, which is as fast as Power Blast. I still think it's a pretty weak one. Frost Nova 40% less damage. What? 30? That's not 40%. VV. Come on, bro.
Greetings, friend.
Huzzah! 66. Thank you for the sub, man. They also changed E on KT. E? I don't see E here. Shadow Fisher will deal a little bit less damage, but a shorter cooldown, so you can do it more often. And then mana cost reduction. Blinded Frost, which is center damage for the Nova, will deal more damage. Strip Shields will give a little bit more shields. Glacial Spike is baseline, so it's gone here. Then here you can buff the damage of Glacial Spike and reduce its cooldown. Chains, by the way, do no longer work on structures. Refresh the page. Okay. Chains no longer work on structures. Oh, yeah. Refresh the page. Interesting. Can no longer be used on structures, and they explain it in the comments. Shorter cooldown to match the no longer CDR. They said it was a bit too strong with pushing objectives. This is sad for me, but yeah, you have more spikes, I guess, maybe, to make up for it. Icy Grasp increases the slow of Frost Nova, and every time you DPS someone, they are slowed for longer. More CDR for the Q build, and this is some change. They said it was oppressive to play against KT with structure training. Okay. I didn't know that. Raynor gets more baseline damage, but it scales less well, and it takes less damage from the Executioner level 1 talent. Giddy Up will no longer be 10% bonus movement speed on everything, it'll be 8. Whereas the paint them red Q heal will be 10% less. I still think this is very strong. This is still strong. This is still strong. This is still strong. So Rainer's still strong. And maybe it's like small nerfs, but I think maybe it's not enough. But I think it's, you know, I think maybe it's not enough probably. But it is definitely a bit of nerfs. Tyke has 2 bonus damage. And a bit of extra slow on a bad talent. Osmodan gets a buff to Greed, which I actually think is quite strong. Though I think neither Greed nor Wrath was my favorite one, it was another one. Wrath will do less damage on auto attacks, a little bit less armor on the WD. Total Annihilation, less damage, and Hell Rift, less demon buffs. Deckard Cain, I was thinking maybe they'll nerf his Potion of Shielding, which I think is the biggest problem with Deckard Cain. His biggest strength. But they're gonna... This is his second biggest problem, probably. And they don't nerf it enough, I think. It's less than 10%. 10%, less than 10%. Or about 10. It's still a very strong one. But it is a nerf in the right place, at least. Potion of Revival is the group heals. I feel like it's quite strong, but it's just overshadowed, especially at pro play here. And Super Healing Potion will also go up. It's also, again, quite strong. These are both very nice abilities, but they're just not as good as this one, especially at pro play. Yeah, that's true. Perry says Sapphire needs to be nerfed as well. It's true. It's way too much slow for a level 1 ability. There's also an undocumented change, says Zyorg. No, it's documented already, Zyorg. You have to refresh the page and you'll see Kel'Thuzad's chain is already reduced in cooldown as well. And Bottomless Flask nerfed, 2 seconds longer to refill, that's a good point. Cloud Serpent no longer has a casting time of a quarter second. And no longer cancels existing move orders, so it got the Tyrael Smite treatment. Gale Force has only 2.75 second blind now instead of 3. I don't feel like this is the best, and it also doesn't have the highest win rate, but maybe Blizzard felt it's oppressive against melee assassins. The double blind on for almost 3 seconds, pretty random nerf. And this one is nerfed as well, so... I mean, Lily does well in Hero League win rate, I guess. But she's a non-issue at pro play or even amateur, or... I mean, I never see her at master, so she gets like 2 random nerfs. It's really weird. Anyway, if you don't take them, you won't really feel it, and I don't think it's the best, so it's whatever. Poor Genji was oppressed by Lily. That's just weird. Genji didn't get nerfed. Lily did. I don't know. This is nothing. Stukov. More base health. More regen. More damage. Wow. Stukov already sees a lot of play at amateur play, at least. Open division. So odd to get 4 buffs. I didn't feel like it was really necessary. Again, I don't understand why a hero that has a lot of contestment rate that is popular gets 4 buffs. Whereas Brightwing, that's trash. Because no one plays her, no one campaigns for her, no one throws up a ruckus on Reddit, and therefore Brightwing doesn't get looked at. I don't understand that. Like, Brightwing didn't get buffed, but Stukov got buffed and Lily gets nerfed. Odd. Yeah, that was old Stukov. You're right, Chromax. Let me do a little double take here. The old Stukov was the one that got played at Pro and Open Division. So it doesn't say anything about the need for him to now get buffed. Good point. White Mane is very strong. High win rate. I found her easy to play. Was very effective with her. And her Q build is the best. With really strong root at 13. And a great heroic ability. So at level 1 they buff the W. At level 4 they buff the W. But they nerf the Q. And they nerf the E. This one was bad. This is good. And this was the best. So overall this is a nerf to her level 4. But when it comes down to it, all level 4s are some version of giving her mana back, and to me that makes the level 4 talent here pretty boring. After some time, it will almost always be the case that one of them will be better than the others. Right now that was Unwavering Faith. Now maybe it's High Inquisitor or not, we'll test it. And once that's the case, it'll get 80% plus pick rate. So it doesn't really matter how many times they rebalance the tier. Because they all do the same thing, give mana back, one will always be the best. It could of course be like the other talents influence which one is good here, but it's still pretty binary. It means that one talent will always go with a certain other subset of the build and it will be best in that circumstance. It's still not very skillful to pick the right one, I guess, but it does require some knowledge, and I guess that's part of a MOBA as well, to know what you should be taking. But overall not an exhilarating tier, not a big deal for her playstyle. And since this is buffed, maybe this one is the best now. This one gets nerfed, that's fine, it was the best. It was really good, it's fair. And then this one is less extra damage. Overall, I see this. White main is still extremely strong and I'm going to continue playing her. The nerfs are... This one is a big nerf. And this is decently. But you can play her without this as well. 5 armor more on E. 10 damage more on Plasma Burn. So Plasma Burn is a really cool idea. When shield is up, he burns you. I've always liked the talent, even when it was at 16, now also when it's at 20. But I've never really been able to justify taking it because it doesn't offer survivability, which is so important for someone like Artanis. And something like Zealot Charge does. And Force of Will at 20 does. So it's a really luxurious talent. You can take this only if you're already not dying. And since Artanis can't disengage, if you're not dying, you're already winning. That's why I think like you'll almost never take Plasma Burn no matter how much you buff it until you make it busted. Having said that though, I'm still going to cautiously attempt to take this and have some fun with it. Force of Will's at 16 now, good point, Sick Room. But Zealot Charge is at 20 and Zealot Charge gives you more survivability than Plasma Burn. More splash on the slam. I feel like this is a deja vu. I feel like it's gone from 100 to 75 before, so not really sure what's happening with that. There's a new functionality, both autos and seismic do Giant Killer. It's true, Plasma Burn hurts a lot. You are correct. Azurus or Yorisura. 25 months, seems like just yesterday I joined the Grub train. Hope to see you doing more live events soon. Thanks, man. There's bug fixes, but although Lily's Mistweaver got nerfed, it didn't get bug fixed. Be aware, Lily Cleanse and level 20 Heal are both possible to get bugged on the cooldown, unless I missed another patch notes. They did fix Valkyrie, and that's nice. And that's it. If you want to read it for yourself, ! patch notes. For now, I'm going to go do a little bit of eat. And then I'm going to go play some quick match, try some of these new heroes. There's also a Tyrande rework that I guess we can just jump over to quickly if there is some nice description, a nice formatting. I think we have it right here, so let's actually just carry on with that for a bit. Hello! Peekaboo! 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 At Gamescom, so her basic attack damage has been nerfed. Quest has been removed from Sentinel, which I know will probably be an unpopular opinion. But I like it. I've never thought it's good gameplay that Sentinel had a quest that made it very needed to keep stacking instead of actually using it for vision. Right now, Gamescom in Germany is an event that's going on where Blizzard is going to be announcing stuff for various games, and they have Mephisto playable there. And there's always some Easter eggs as well, and the Tyrande rework seems to be one of it. Lunar Flare seems to no longer be a quest either, which is very nice. Wait, this is the baseline. Never mind, never mind. Lunar Flare is nerfed in damage, and the Hunter's Mark is nerfed in the armor amount. Why? Maybe it gets better later. At level 1 you can remove stun, silence and slow. At level 1 you can have CDR extra or give spell armor. Stack up only to 2 times. At 4 you can make your ranger, your sentinel, go wider. Deal more damage if it goes farther, and you can activate it to cause it to pierce. Every 30 seconds. At level 2, Lunar Flare will be longer range. And also if you hit it many times, 20 times, you can deal up to double damage. True Shot Aura is also at level 4, 1 minute cooldown. You get straight up extra auto attack damage, and you can activate to reset Hunter's Mark and grant 20% to allies as well. That's pretty interesting. That's a cool supportive auto attack buff. If the second charge of Light of Balloon is not used on the same target as first, increases heal. Not used on the same target. Or, as some people might say, on a different target. Mark of Mending. Basic attacks heal her for max health. Basic attacks against Hunter's Mark heal all your allies for max health. Elune's Chosen. Basic attacks heal target ally. Okay, this is all moved from 16. So she's more supportive earlier on already. Shadow Stalk. It's marked as a placeholder. So there might be something new in the future. And Starfall's unchanged. Quickening Blessing gives movement speed to allies. And to yourself baseline. Harsh Moonlight is still a shrink ray. Shrinks more. Nice. That's cool. But you only pierce every so often. Ranger's Mark. CDR on your Hunter's Mark. Empower. More sentinels. They take max health damage. 2. More trait. Now, greater cast range and duration of your trait. And basic splash. 3. Consecutive basic attacks deal bonus damage. If you attack heroes. Light. When you're overhealing, you heal more. 20. Still a placeholder. Celestial Wrath. Hit to inside its area of effect. Everyone within the area, even if they didn't take the damage, they get Hunter's Marked. Yeah, I know, Shadowstalk all allies, but I didn't read the whole thing because I didn't care, because it's a placeholder, so it's gonna change. Shooting Star. Bonus auto attack. Every 8th basic is a flare. Prefers heroics. It's been nerfed and buffed. Oh, yeah. Less range, but more flares. This one is buffed and nerfed as well. And that's it. Cool. It's good to know. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this video of Heroes of the Storm on YouTube, please consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so that you know when we next go live with another video. Thank you very much.